Commander Hugh McDonnell, American 1st Infantry Division. They've taken Fort McCain, Fort Allister, and Iowa City, he said. But our guys are moving half the army out to the river to meet them. Good chance they'll get blown to shit once they see the Mississippi. He was gone before he could get another word out of him. A sort of quiet fell over us as the propeller noise died in the distance. I knew that Iowa City was in front of us, meaning that anyone we'd sent that way was probably dead, and we need to skirt around the city to get back to our lines. Failing that, go cross-country with our vehicles and hike the rest of the way. Why didn't Command warn us? They had to have known our escape was being cut off. Maybe they didn't know the enemy was so close. Sure took us by fucking surprise. Command, this is Challenger Actual. Interrogative. Static crackled back as the reply sounded off. Go ahead, Challenger. We've just heard word that Iowa City's been compromised. Any confirmation on your end? Hang on. I waited for some good news, but after a while, I knew what the answer would be. We've got Hellraisers circling the city. That's all I know on this end. Interrogative. Can we safely move through the city? Just a sec. I waited a while more. A Chinook-heavy chopper passed us overhead. I was getting tired of waiting. Any word? Command? The city's fallen. I just got the word myself. There. Just stay clear of those roads leading into the city. It's chock full of grays. Out. I gave the order to mount up, and broke out the maps. Without the satellites over Earth, we'd have to use real paper maps to get back. Directions over radio, especially with grays so close, it just wasn't worth the risk. Battalion Commander Krep, 53rd Recon Auxiliary. The battle in the city had been short. Humans were rounded up and branded with great big machines. As I saw the branding press burn those hot iron marks into the humans' arms, I couldn't help but shake. I looked over my own hand, and only felt the slightest comfort that my position gave me a little civil protection. These humans wouldn't receive such benefits, probably not until their next generation. The generals, well proud of their first conquest, gave speeches on overturned human contraptions. I think they called them cars. They couldn't just stop themselves from preening over the bodies in the street, laughing and aroused while the screams of the new slaves pierced the hot air. I couldn't help but roll my eyes, and that earned me a glaring from the highborns. I just kept my eyes to the ground and waited for it to be over. Not that it helped much. One of them grabbed me by my heavy armor, dragging me right to the ground. I think one of them kicked me. I know one of them spat in my face. They even let me off with a little warning. You best behave. You'll get your fucking teeth fed to you if you go disrespecting your betters again. And with that, they were gone. I dusted myself off and thought, not much to do here anymore, best to get on with it. So I gathered my battalion, all of them sore and hungry, and waiting as the last in line to eat. They didn't like it when I gave them the order. Stale tack and gox fat wasn't enough to keep them going, I knew that. But once we were out in the woods again, we could set up camp and feast off the land. The biodiversity was obscenely high, and we could eat almost everything that grew here, except maybe the trees. Add some fire and local provisions, we could probably coast right through the whole war without too much trouble. Maybe we'd even be forgotten and avoid any unsavory business with these humans. Hey, Surfmaster. I turned. Your marching orders, get it done. He handed off a short stack of papers and left me on my own. The highborn prick knew I couldn't read. I spat at his boots as he passed the orders to Gilfad. We'd be beaten as a unit if we didn't at least try. As we were leaving the city itself, I saw something in the sky, almost like a blackbird circling, but its wings never moved, and ever so faintly, I could hear buzzing. I didn't want to be in the city anymore, nor did I want to be watched by unnatural flying beasts. I picked a set of woods, and we read our orders out of sight. Then, the city was bombed. We watched as a dozen explosions ripped the very streets right out of the ground, as bellows of gray smoke specked with chunks of rock were thrown 100 feet into the air. I set all eyes to watch the horizon, to wait and see where the enemy would come from. But no true attack ever came. It just stopped as suddenly as it started. Somehow the thought we could be harried by an enemy we never saw made my blood run cold. We got our orders out and read that we were to travel along the main road east. And, for some bizarre reason, we weren't supposed to use the road itself. Our orders even ended with, so that you won't pollute the roads with your stink. So we got to it. Other formations passed us by, way down with the long lines of auto carriages and small land ships, their domed turrets casting their focus straight at us every now and again. Bit by bit, they passed us by, just as they all would. After all, a recon battalion should keep the way clear for the real fighters. It made perfect sense. If you've hit your fucking head. Though, knowing some of the highborns on this expedition, that wasn't exactly out of the road erupted in gunfire. Invisible shots flew through the air, hitting the hapless grunts. With some reluctance, I gave the order to charge in and render aid. We sprayed down the trees, the rear of the road, even ahead of the column. Rapid snaps flew over my head. I could actually feel something. A lot of somethings just barely miss me. I hit the ground, and another burst took a few of my men standing behind me. I raised my volley gun up, sending my shot where I could only guess the enemy was coming from. Soon enough, I gathered some men to charge the forest and get rid of the ambushing humans. But as we actually caught sight of them, they were already moving back, spraying us down in fire and always moving. I sent a few volleys down range as best as I could in the thick woods, but I didn't have a clue if we'd actually hit anything. We chased them down, the highborns joining us with their plasma repeaters, laying down better fire than we had ever hoped for, and even helping us push through their constant fire. When the whole affair was said and done, the highborn commander approached me. I was ready for threats and all the usual shit. He shook my hand, looking right into my eyes, and said, "I can't thank you enough. We'd have surely been killed were it not for you. Will you join us?" Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you're new here, welcome aboard. Check out the description for the story and join the Discord if you like. Consider supporting the channel and the author as well. It's a dangerous world out there, but remember to be brave and look up to seek the stars.